up.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Autocrat Primer, where we love us somewhat.
Transformers!
And tonight we have a very nice, great uh, guest. He's a friend. He reached out to us very early on with our channel. I actually had great talks with him, ideas. We've shared things back and forth. Really great guy. I've got a link down below. His name is Ninjabill, and we're going to get to know Ninjabill a little bit better tonight. If you don't already know Ninjabill, and you should, because he's like everywhere on Facebook. He's also everywhere on Tales from Teletron's Facebook page and social media. So, welcome, Ninjabill. How are you doing today, brother?
Thanks, y'all, and I'm doing good. I got a belly full of food, and I'm, sitting here. I got Stargate playing on the television. I got a Conan comic I just bought today, so yeah, I'm good.
Oh,
The Battle for the Conan, Battle for the Serpent Crown. I've yet to read it, issue 1. So anyway, my name is Ninja Bill. Obviously, as you can see, you can find me on YouTube at Ninja Bill 1000. You can also find me on Twitter at Ninja Bill 01, Discord at Ninja Bill, and on Instagram Ninja Bill 1000. So there you go. And once again, thanks for having me.
oh no, thanks for hanging out with us. So tonight we're going to take a look. Is there anything that you want to share before we get into the wonderful questions? Is there anything that you are doing something that's new right now? Any more custom work or anything?
Well, I've been working on. I showed some images on the battle class Jetfire. I've been working on customizing the battle class Cyberverse battle class Jetfire to look more like he did. Well, not quite like he did on the show. Somewhat like it's more of a G1, a blend of G1 and Cyberverse that I'm going for, and I think it looked pretty cool. I shared some of those images on Instagram and Facebook, and I think. Did I share them on Discord? I don't think so. But anyway, I'm still getting used to Discord.
Hey, anything it does with social media, as Nikki can attest to, it's like introducing a new tricks to an old dog. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and then you just have to rub my belly and let me be happy.
There you go. And tonight was the first cooked meal I had on my brand new stove. I had a fire, many of you know, a couple of weeks ago, and it's taken forever to get that kitchen up and running and mostly done. I still got the flooring to put in, but I finally got the stove working today and finally cooked a meal on it, and I'm very happy.
Oh, no.
I could sleep.
What was that?
I said I could sleep all night real good now.
It's interesting, when something like that happens. I've never had anything get caught on fire, but I've had certain things that from flooding or something like that, and it does. It makes you take a step back and go, man, without this stuff, it's really difficult to do things. Yeah. So tonight we are going. I sent you some questions. Did you have a chance to take a look at any of them?
Yeah, you don't ask me that right before the show, and I said, and this is exactly what I said to him. If I say yes, will you believe me?
Yes, I will.
And yes, I am looking at the questions as we speak right now, that you sent via email. So I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, the first one is something that I've always told, like Nikki, for me, I've had a stroke. And when I had the stroke many years ago, I lost a lot of my memory. So when I was
with you, I had a stroke at 30.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow.
I'm 50 now. I had a stroke at 30, which a lot of people apparently seem to think is young, but I had a really, really, really bad one. But I got lucky. Almost everyone else in the stroke ward with me, died or was the vegetable. So left the hospital that way. But I was lucky. I lost 28% of my memories. So, and you can't miss what you don't have, It's one of those situations where, my family or my friends will tell me about something and I'll just, it's like, don't you remember it? Well, no, I don't remember it. I don't, and if you don't remember something, the feelings aren't there, the emotional connection isn't there anymore. It's just gone and
Yeah.
permanently gone. And much of my childhood was those memories. And much of my childhood, I simply can't remember. They're just gone. You know, what can I do? I can't regret what I miss. I can't miss what I don't remember. So it's one of those. It's just gone.
Yeah.
I have no connection to any of those memories that I've lost because I don't know what I've lost. So I'm right there with you. I know how it is, but some things stick with me because the Transformers didn't happen until 1984. I was already 14 years old of age. I was already a teenager. Most of y'all was waddling around or whatever. I was out hanging in the streets. When I was running it. Hey, Kato. Hello, Adamantium Matrix. So, the question is what is your first memory of Transformers? And for me, it's actually the Marvel comics. All right.
Okay.
For me, I read the comics first before I watched the cartoon. That's not to say the comics came before the cartoon. I don't really care which came first. I just know I love them both.
I do.
Yeah. But for me, it was the comics that I saw first. And then, of course, I picked up my first toy and whatnot. And I was just over the moon with it. And I think my very first one was either a Ratchet and Ironhide or a Grapple. I can't remember which is why I like Grapple. And I really love Ratchet. I mean, that's probably where my love of Ratchet comes from because Ratchet and Shockwave are my favorites. I like Grapple too. I'm still hoping to find the Siege one, or not the Siege one, the Earthrise version. I'm still used to saying Siege.
Oh man, and that's what's the crazy thing. If it wasn't for an input, I wouldn't have the Grapple because apparently no place where we live and we have a Walmart that's actually closing down. So Nikki and I both have been kind of
Eyeballing.
Yeah, we're just like, okay, maybe they'll show up. Maybe we'll see. But the Grapple, I actually like. You do have to be careful with the his pegs, where they can get stuck and break off in his feet. But he's a really nice figure. I really do enjoy him. Very happy that I got him. Talk about the first memories. You're like with the comic book. What was it about the comic book? Because I'm a comic book guy. So what was it with the comics that when you were going in? Because for me, I was also illiterate when I was in fifth grade, and my coach couldn't recognize that I could read the play on the field, but I couldn't read the playbook. And so he had a comic book store, and my first comic book that when I went in there was Superman. I recognized Superman from I Love Lucy. I also recognized Superman from the Christopher Reeve Superman. It was one of my grandfather's, one of his favorite characters. And so immediately I was gravitated towards Superman. What was it, the Transformers that you saw? Because if you didn't see the cartoon, what was it that caught your eye to pick up that Marvel comic?
Well, it was given to me.
Okay.
Okay, so the very first comic book I ever read and that I ever collected was Ms. Marvel. All right. That was the very first one. That was the very first one. And that was back in 79. Was it 79 when her first issue came out? I think so. But that was the very first comic I ever collected, and I collected it for almost 3 years. And back then, you could get your when you got your subscription, it mailed directly to your house, into your mailbox. They don't do that anymore, but that's the way things used to be. That's the same way with the robot points. You clipped off the back of your Transformer boxes and you mailed in stuff and it came into your mailbox. That's the way things worked then, But so I was reading Ms. Marvel, and they usually advertise additional titles that Marvel had in those comics. Well, I saw the Transformers and asked if I could have that, and I got to pick 2 comics. So I started getting Ms. Marvel, Amazing Spider-Man, and Transformers.
Oh, nice.
So those were my first So those were my first comics, and that's And then the cartoon, I one Saturday morning, there was the cartoon, and history was made. et cetera, ad nauseum or infinity, take a pick. But that's it for me. The comics were the start of my lifelong. And again, now I'm 50. Just turned 50 on the 11th of the March. So it's been a lifelong obsession. And I'm older than most folks I know. As a matter of fact, I think I'm the oldest member of our YouTube community. I don't think there's anyone older. I know there's some close to me, but I think I'm the oldest.
Yeah, so
hey,
the oldest and the wisest then.
Say again?
I said the oldest and the wisest then.
Well, I don't know about wisdom. Wisdom comes with clarity, and I had a whole bunch of that while drinking.
Nikki Pooh, did you want to ask a question next?
Yes. Who is your favorite Transformer?
Oh, I already answered that question. Autobot Ratchet and Decepticon Shockwave. So those. Okay, so the reason why I've always been fat since I was a wee lad. Some of it I remember, some of it I don't. But I distinctly remember having a love of ambulances. And back then, look, when I was growing up, all right, in the 70s, ambulances were these old Cadillacs, all right. They'd have these old extended. You don't see if you ever watch the movie, Mother Jugs and Speed. You'll see the type of ambulance I'm talking about. That old Cadillac, hearse turned ambulance that they use in that. So if you don't know Mother Jugs and Speed, it's an old flick. It's not that great. It's right up there with Car Wash. It's just one of those classic films that you just got to watch it and enjoy it for what it is. Now I've suddenly got the Car Wash theme stuck in my head. Hell yeah! See, she's got it too now.
The Car Wash is one of my favorite places.
Yes. Oh gosh, yeah. The cheapest date was taking Nikki to a car wash. This is a true story. Cheapest date, taking Nikki to a car wash where it pulls the car in while you're in there, and it had rainbow colored soap on it, and Nikki was like a little girl all over. Was like, so yeah, that was like the cheapest date.
And then the multicolored brushes would come along and start cleaning it up. Heck yeah. No, I know what you're saying. But so ambulances for me were a draw, and of course we had Ratchet in Transformers, who was, guess what, an ambulance. And you had First Aid, who was also an ambulance, and later in the Japanese one you sort of had Minerva, who's sort of, but not kind of, but not really an ambulance, or like I don't know, a rescue car, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. It was except that we got Night Beat from the same mold. It gave new meaning to the word transformer. Anyway, I'm not going to touch that one again, and don't anybody else touch it.
Oh man.
But
that was good.
But anyway, so Ratchet has always been one of those. I just love the red and white color, mostly white with the red, and it meant that he was the rescue vehicle. He was there to help somebody, which draws me right into the fire trucks, which is always awesome to have a fire truck. I think we need more Optimus Primes as fire trucks than any other, just a regular truck. That's why I love Super Fire Convoy so much. It's a great toy because he's a fire truck. That's why I like Inferno, because he's a fire truck, etc., and on and on. Then we have Shockwave. Shockwave in the comics is nothing like he is in the cartoon. Shockwave in the comics is a badass.
Yes.
If he felt like taking over the Decepticons at any moment, he beat the crap out. I mean, he beat Megatron bloody.
Yes.
And just drive him home. He made Megatron. It's the only time in media where Megatron bowed and pledged to Shockwave. Hail Shockwave. He did that in the comics.
That's true.
All right. Megatron has never done that any other time. Not in cartoons, Not in any other comics. He did it in the original G1 comics, and that's because Shockwave beat him. Shockwave, ever since then, I was like, okay, Shockwave's my favorite ship because nobody else could do it. Nobody else could beat Megatron like that. Nobody else has ever beaten. Even Optimus Prime in the movie didn't get beat him like Shockwave, beaten and humiliated. That's what Shockwave did to Megatron. All right, beaten and humiliated.
And that's what I love. Now, we do have a question coming in from this, and this is going to be to Art Teacher for Life and to you, Ninjabill. Question is, are you looking forward to the Transformers My Little Pony crossover? We'll start with you, Art Teacher, and then
yes.
Yes, what?
Yes.
Are you excited?
Yes.
Come on, you guys share that excitement like when I told you about it.
I'm super excited. The last time there was a crossover was a comic book, and they had Optimus Prime and Pinkie Pie on the cover. And I don't know where it was, but I saw it at one time, and I was like, I wish I had it, but we never could figure out where it was. I
Probably
think
fan art.
What else?
I said it might have been fan art because there's a lot of that.
It could have been.
Sarah Richards is the one that did it, and it's a
San really? That didn't look like her style, though.
It's a San Diego Comic Con exclusive.
Oh, okay. That was probably what it was. But yeah, I'm super excited about the crossover.
Yeah.
I think it would be better if Pinkie Pie was teamed up with Bumblebee, though.
What about you, Ninjabill? You're the one that spoke this into existence.
How's that?
You, very, very early on, you had said the only thing crossover we haven't had is a My Little Pony and Transformers. And lo and behold, Hasbro brings us.
Well, you've all seen the image I showed you of RC, the MLP RC I have. Mm-hmm. So obviously, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
That's the shortest answer I can give. I've shown that image a couple of times now, that picture that I had a good friend of mine who drew it for me, and a great artist, Jennifer Blake, and I'm okay with it. Now, what I'm personally excited for is, and it should be coming really, really soon this month. I haven't seen it. I went looking for it today. I bought the Conan title, but I was looking specifically for the Transformers versus Terminator title. I didn't find it.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. But I'll get that as a trade. But very much looking forward to that. Love to see how that's going to be played out. Here's another question. This is something that my nieces have asked, and typically a lot of people in our family has asked me this. So I'm going to ask you, what is it that makes you still collect Transformers?
It's about change.
Okay.
It's about change. It's about changing. Okay, so the Transformers aren't just change, they change from a truck to a robot or anything. No. They're about change themselves. We've seen it ever since the very first iterations of the comics, of the cartoons, constantly changing, constantly evolving, just like we as people do. We grow from children to adults to senior citizens, and every day of our lives are changed. We are changed by every day of our lives. Every moment, we're constantly changing from one thing to another. And we're growing, we're learning, and that's what Transformers means to me. And not only that, but it's cool. I mean, come on, even kids, we all loved it because why? Because we got two toys in one, right? We could either buy the robot, or we could buy the car. But if we could buy a car that's also a robot, well, there you go. I mean, it's like, hey, can I have that Hot Wheels car, or can I have that robot car? Well, what about the robot car? Robot car. All right. Yeah, sure. Hey, there you go. Boom. and that's cool. And then there's the characters themselves. Some of them are really compelling characterizations. All right. And can be easily identified with, depending on who's your favorite. And sometimes who's your favorite, it says a lot about the person themselves, that likes that. For example, look, I love Shockwave because he's a badass. And that's because I'm a survivor. I've been through and done a lot of stuff, and a lot of times I use my mind rather than my muscle to solve problems. And because of that, I identify with Shockwave and his logic, right? But I also like helping people, and I've always loved the ability, wanted to be that person who's always there to help and encourage, like you'd see happening with an ambulance. They're off the race. They're racing off to help somebody, and so I identify with Ratchet, and that's why do I still collect? Because they're cool. Because I identify with certain representations. Now, of course, there is media that I don't much care for. We all have that, all right. And puts it best, hey, don't love what you love, and don't let me put you off loving it.
Right.
And that's great. Like, I really enjoy, and you do too, the Cyberverse line of toys. There's a lot of people who spent the whole time doing nothing but bashing the Cyberverse, or there are still people who do nothing but hate on the movies. Okay, absolutely, just hate everything about them, from the movies, the toy line, etc., 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 comics based on whatever. They hate it all. They don't, but they're limiting themselves because of that hate. They don't see that, look, because of those movies, we had a re-energized Transformer base. Because of those movies bringing more money in, we got the additional lines. We got new comics. We got Hasbro issued out new license to print, like for IDW, to print their comics on Transformers, all right? So without all that additional money that those movies brought, the additional fans who then went on to explore other continuities, other franchises within the Transformers franchise, we wouldn't be where we're at today. Because the Transformers were stagnating. In 2007, or the 2007 movie, the Transformers line itself was starting to stagnate.
It was.
And the movies re-energized it.
It's something that even Nikki and I, we've talked about, was the fact that you having the Transformers itself, and this is something that we enjoyed the Bayverse for what it was, for the Bayverse and what it was, because for us, I was always looked at it, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm a G1. Absolutely. Now, there's some people like Crimson Raptors and Input that are G2. They love everything about G2. But when you take a look at Transformers themselves, one thing that's always stood out to me is the fact that you've got G1, you've got Beast Wars, you got Beast Wars 2, you've got RID, you got the Cybertron trilogy, the Unicron trilogy. You've got, even Nikki now calls Input, sent me a link so that Nikki could finally get to watch Levo Convoy, the Beast Wars 2, the Japanese version. She's been getting into that. And there's something that I think there's Transformers, there is a niche for everyone. And, and if we really were to be honest, Transformers has never just stayed like, okay, Superman comes from Krypton and comes to Earth and he ends up with Lois Lane, and okay, that's something that's not a lot of change. Transformers, though, you can actually say each reality and each version is just as important.
Each reiteration does it a little differently, and that's when I was talking about that. Each character, each characterization has changed a little by little. Our idea, like for many people will agree when I say this, that the Cyberverse series gave us back the Optimus Prime that we all grew up with, all right? Because the movie continuity Optimus Prime is a vastly different Optimus Prime than the Prime we all know and grew up with, all right? Vastly different. He doesn't quite have the same morality that the original cartoon character did. He wasn't as the original cartoon Optimus Prime. He was honorable. He was also upbeat. He had a sense of humor. The movie one, no, he didn't have that. He didn't have that sense of humor. He didn't have that upbeat presence. He didn't have it. It was all doom and gloom all the time for him. And so the Cyberverse one in many ways, brought back the G1 '84 cartoon Optimus Prime that we all love. So when people hate on it, I like to point that out. It's like, look, we got our Optimus Prime back.
Mm-hmm.
Is it so bad then? Is it so bad that you can't see that? But that's on them. They want to hate what they're going to hate, and all I can do is say, hey, I think it's okay, and that it's okay if you like what you like. That's and for me, I like Transformers. I like them all. Now, given this is this is me, the same person who will knock KOs and third-party companies. Okay, this is the same person saying that, but just because I personally don't like or think that much of third-party companies doesn't mean I would begrudge anyone enjoying the products. Because if they love it, why not love it? Who am I to say no? I just think the third-party companies are a bunch of liars, thieves, and no good sons of bitches. But that's just me. That's just me.
Any third-party company wants to sponsor this, his views do not reflect this channel. No, I'm picking.
Hey, you know what? Those people are secure. They got jobs. They're working hard. The products. I can't knock the products. All right. Just because I don't like what they're doing doesn't mean their products are bad. No, far from it. I know most third-party products are really great. They're great materials, great hardware. Nice posability. They aesthetically very nice. All the way around. And there's some problems here and there with, some types. Zetter Toys and Kato. Anyway, Bumblebee, Shadow Bumblebee. But anyway, it's just, I don't begrudge anyone loving what they love. And for me to love there's a lot of people who, I'm also big in the anime community. So a lot, I know a lot of people who are voice actors. I know a lot of creators and authors and writers and designers and cosplayers. I know a lot of them. So it's one of those things where I love. And a lot of people say, "Well, why do you like it so much?" Why not? That's my answer is why not. Short answer is why do you love Transformers? Well, why not?
Right. Nikki, you got a question that you want to ask?
Yes. If you could have a toy line from your childhood, what toy would it be? And which one would you like to see rebooted?
Rock Lords? No.
Sure. So
the Smurfs.
Even He-Man ripped them off.
The Smurfs. I hated the Smurfs. I can't. No. The Mask. I think Mask would be a huge. Well, let me take that back. I don't think Mask would be a huge. I don't think Mask would be as popular as it once was. I think it mostly be a bigger hit with adult collectors than it would be with kids. Because they already have Transformers, right? They have already all these other things. That's a good question. Optimus Wolper, welcome. Just woke up, didn't want to miss this. Oh, nice. It's gonna be what 2-3 a.m. there in Scotland. Let's see here. A line. Brave Star. I would love to see Brave Star come back, and I would love to see toys from Brave Star. Again, though, that it would mostly be adult collectors buying it. But I would love to see, a few 3 3/4 inch figures re-released. Maybe some of their, the like their laser cycles that they rode, or those stage coaches, or something. I would like to see a Brave Star. I would like that.
That would actually really be really cool. I remember that one too. I used to like that. But you were saying something about Mask, and I was watching Kato. He was doing also an interview, but he was doing it with Sentinel Bay, and they were on the topic.
Yeah, I was just watching. I watched that Then I went on to watch his latest one he had today, and I also got caught up on his part two of the restoration of Rhino, and mistook something he said and probably made an absolute fool of myself. So next time I actually talk to him, see him on camera, I'll have to apologize profusely because I feel like an idiot. Even though he said don't worry about it, I still kind of feel like, I'm like, oh, because I told him at one point in the video, he said, yeah, the wheels were terrible. And I'm thinking to myself, what? Really? I thought they were in pretty darn good shape. The rubber tires were all there and they weren't cracked or anything. And he said they were terrible. And I'm thinking, oh my God, did he had to replace them? And I told him, I said, I'll reimburse you for something you needed to replace. Because I felt terrible. But apparently it was all just a misunderstanding on my part. It's not what he said; it's the way he said it, and I misinterpreted that, and now I feel like a complete idiot and everything.
You just say, hey, with ACP misunderstanding things, just tell him to give my playlist, because there's several things that I misinterpret or I don't get right, and he's been my sounding board. And so if he can put up with my me making stupid statements, yours is not. Yours is fine. That's a cool thing about Kato. When Kato tells you you're good, he actually means it. He means you are good.
It was just one of those moments, where it caught me off guard. I was like, oh shit, he had to replace something. I thought I sent him something he barely had to do any work with. And I was like, oh man. Oh, and here I am costing him all this kind of money because those tires could not have been easy to replace. And I'm thinking to myself, oh crap. But I misinterpreted it and it just I felt terrible. But yeah, back to the question at hand. I would like to see Brave Star, 6-inch or 3 3/4 inch figures. I would like to see some of that. I doubt it will ever happen unless there's like a huge demand. And let's face it, hardly anybody remembers Brave Star toys. Maybe within our community they might, but outside of our community, how many people do you see talking about Brave Star?
That's true. That is.
See, be honest now. How many people talk about Brave Star? And it was a great cartoon. I loved it. The animation wasn't that terrific. It had its just as choppy as any other 80s cartoon. Let's be honest here.
80s cartoon was a time to have an advertisement for kids to buy your toys.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we got a new cartoon, but we got a new figure that goes with it. And
there you
Brave
go.
Star.
Was Brave Star Mattel? Was that Mattel or Hasbro that produced the Brave Star? I can't remember. Might have been Mattel.
Was it Mattel? Because I thought the only boy line that Mattel actually did was for He-Man. So I thought that was Hasbro.
It might have been Kenner, come to think about it.
Ooh, it may have been Kenner. You know what? I'm going to look it up real quick.
Yeah, I was about to Google that shit myself. I was like, who made the Brave Star toys? There we go. Simple Google search. Boy, 89. Yeah, what a year. 89. Plot, setting, blah, blah, points of interest, blah, 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 heroes, that's that. Toys, damn you. Where's the toy section? That might have helped if I actually click the thing. Yeah.
Brave Star.
Filmation, infrared.
And it was Mattel.
It was Mattel. That's what I thought. It was Mattel.
It was Mattel.
Yep.
Well, man, you go to eBay, boy. These things are like gold. You talk about costing somebody some money to put together some tires for mask. Geez, the station wagon for Brave Star is like $200.
I'm telling you, man. It's mostly adult collectors that would even be bothered to look at anything new from there. But I would like to see new Brave Star toys. But yeah, I mean, Brave Star would like. I didn't really care for the silver. There was some Silverhawks toys too. I didn't. I bought one, and I didn't care for it, and I thought it was crap, and so I never, never cared. I was like, eh. I watched the cartoon, maybe all of 10 episodes, and was like, eh.
A lot of people felt that way because it only had one season.
Yeah. I watched a few episodes. It was like, eh. There was much better other shows, around that time.
Yeah, and it is. It is amazing.
Did the same with me.
You would
with
like
the
to have
Megazord.
that.
Adamantium Matrix, or no, Optimus Wolper said did the same with me with the Megazord. You're like, eh.
Well, it's like with me. Well, one of the things is that with that coming out, would you like to see it also have a cartoon, or would you just be happy if they came out with just a toy line and just an updated toy line? Or would you like what they're doing with G.I. Joe? Would you be interested if Mattel leased those characters out to like Jax, like they're doing with like Hasbro's doing with G.I. Joe? Would you like to see that happen?
I honestly have no opinion on that. It is what whoever brought it out, as long as they were decent figures, I wouldn't care. As long as they were officially licensed, that is. I'm just one of those people. It's like I once told Kato, and I once said to him, the reason why when you walk into my room, you see a Transformers collection, all right, not a Transformers and collection, because that's what you get when people walk in the room. And I know a guy he wanted to show me his Transformers collection. I said, awesome. He was, well, come check it out. And I was like, awesome. So I walked in, and my first reaction was, okay, now show me where your Transformers are. And he said, look, they're all right there. I said, no, those are all third-party toys. I don't know who they are. I don't know their names, but those aren't Transformers. Like when you walk into my collection room, you see a Transformers collection, not a Transformers and collection.
Oh yeah,
now, most people don't. They don't think it's the same. You buy a third party thing that looks like Optimus Prime. That's Optimus Prime to them, and that's okay. That's okay. It's just not my bag, because I like. See, I grew up where where a brand meant something. When you bought a Sears and Roebuck washer, that thing was guaranteed for life. The brand meant something. Brands meant something. Now they're just whatever. But so I grew up in an era where a brand actually meant something. It meant durability. It meant a long life. It meant something. Just like those Takara. When you bought a Transformer, you bought a Hasbro Transformer. It lasted a while. We've seen it time and time again where a G1 toy, has been loved to death, and that thing is still sometimes pretty good condition.
Yeah, holds up.
There's many examples where they aren't so much, but there's a lot of them where you can still restore what's there. So, it meant a brand meant something. Now Hasbro obviously doesn't quite measure up to their own standards anymore. Yeah. But
it's the same reason why if I do get a third-party figure, I will not put a Autobot or Decepticon sticker on it.
I love that. It's like my friend Josh. He bought this third-party Optimus Prime, and he said, "Look at this Optimus Prime." I said, "So you slap some stickers on it and called it Optimus Prime, huh?"
Exactly. And I get people that do, and I'm like, okay, but let's just be honest. That's not Optimus Prime. I got it because it's a figure that looks like Optimus Prime, and I wanted something that had really solid ratchets and stuff that I'm not getting from Takara, exactly. From Hasbro.
They're great quality. I can't like that magic square. I forget what they call it, but that magic square one. It's fantastic. It is. It's fantastic. There is no denying it. There is no argument I could possibly make that would deny just how awesome that toy is, because it is awesome.
Oh yeah.
And let's face it. And then this sort of leads into another conversation I just had the other day on a forum. It's like somebody said, "Well, yeah, I have adult taste. That's why I collect these." I was like, "Adult taste? It's a fucking toy, you moron. Get over yourself. I mean, get over. I didn't say fucking over yourself. It's a toy. All right. Call it a collectible. Call it adult taste. Call it. It's a toy. End of the day, it's a freaking toy. All right." It's a toy. It's a toy you play with. You change it, or yeah, I don't care if you're just setting it on your shelf for the rest of your natural life. It's still a toy.
Yeah, and that's what I like what Optimus says. I'm saying nothing about third party, waiting on stuff to arrive. LOL.
See, now I don't knock the quality, the builds, the aesthetics, everything. Third party companies are popular for a reason. They are successful for a reason, and that is because of they build quality products. Look, 90% of the time, I can still remember when early third party was nothing but just add-on parts, and then they started producing and all the actual figures, and some of those figures were absolute shite. But they learned, they progressed, and they are great. They are great. There's nothing I could say. I don't care how I feel about them that would make me Denny a solid product that they are. Like that Magic Square. It's a solid product. If just because I like third party, it's not a solid product. That would make me some kind of terrible asshole. And I don't want to be a terrible asshole.
I do have to say that with the Transformer community, and this is something I've said time and time again, and me and Nikki both being publishers and having our own characters that we own, having someone else use your product to capitalize on, and they don't get any of the kickback off of it. I'm surprised that Hasbro and Takara has been as relaxed on those things, and I think third party
because it brings them brand recognition. That's why.
And it keeps
it keeps the Transformers name alive, even if they're not Transformers themselves. It keeps the brand alive. Because a kid will see their parents buying these third party action figures, right? And then they'll want one of their own. So what do the parents buy them? They'll go buy them a Hasbro product. Bingo! Money made for Hasbro. Brand recognition right there.
And I think that, because of third party, especially now, we're seeing that Hasbro has taken it up a notch. You and I like the Cyberverse. We both love gimmicks. A lot of people don't like this, Cyberverse line and don't like One Step. So I still get a kick out of anything that has a gimmick I enjoy. And the one thing that Hasbro is doing now is you've got a Studio Series, and now you've got, which was Siege, we just came out of. Now we have Earthrise. We're really getting little miniature masterpieces. We talked about this on Tales from Teletran about, the Siege line and Earthrise look to be little miniature masterpieces. Do you think that's because third party Hasbro was seeing that the money was going to those third party companies with that type of articulation, or you don't think that had any bearing at all?
I can't say for sure either way. Here's the problem with that is it lends more of your own inclinations than what could be reality, if you get what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. It's an opinion formed without fact.
Okay, but
because we don't know the particulars of why Hasbro is doing what they're doing. Is it a response to the fan base? Is it a response to competition? We don't know. We can't say for sure either way. So for somebody to positively say it's because of what third party is doing is, well, a fantasy at best, because there's no way they can prove it. I mean, it's so, and it'd be colored more of our own opinion than we would have of fact. So I
Mhm.
can't say one way or another. Honestly, I think, and I can't prove it, I think it's more of a response to the fan base, and actually probably more of a response to market changes than any fans or third party. I,
Well, I
I
do know
think
Yeah.
it's due a lot more to do with market changes and trends than anything else. Because Hasbro products were at, let's say, before Siege Line for about 2010 on up, started to become much more waffled, as we sort of coined the term. Much less paint apps. It started, the plastic quality started to go down. I mean, so and they became more like KOs, the old KOs, than even their official products were. So when the official products and KO companies started exchanging their roles, so to speak, because KO products started to come out that were of much better builds, much better quality, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Mhm.
And when an official company and the other products are switching roles, the market, you notice that as a company, you notice that those market trends. That's that's what keeps you alive in the business. All right. So I think personally, I think it had much more to do with market trending than with the fan base or with third party companies. That's just my personal opinion. Now, am I way off base? Absolutely, I could probably be off base. Am I right on the nose? Sure, I could probably be. I don't know. I can't say for sure either way.
Now, the other thing too is that the Hasbro did come out and say that they were going to give us um, scale. So that was one of their factors. Do you think scale should it be a thing, or should it just be give us a quality toy?
Scale is in the eye of the beholder. Enough said.
You and I agree 100% on that. It is because
Scale in the eye of the beholder. Enough said. I mean, for example, Triple R.
yeah,
He likes to scale. There's no denying it. He tells everybody he likes to scale. Whereas like input, he's like, he could go either way with something, you know. And there's a baseline comparison. Oh, sure, there's a baseline. Anybody can, they've had baseline comparisons charts out for a while, But for example, and perfect example, Jetfire in the comics was just a bit taller than Optimus Prime. In a cartoon, he was much taller than Optimus Prime.
right.
So again, scale, eye of the beholder. It's subjective. Now, that said, I really liked the old Voyager scale action figures. Now, the Masterpiece line themselves, the original Masterpiece lines, all right, from Takara was the old Voyager scale. This new Voyager scale isn't the same, but I actually like that 7-inch, 8-inch, figure. That for me, that was the perfect size Transformer toy. That's
Mhm.
just me. Some may agree or disagree, and they're more power to them. But for me, a great size transforming action figure for me was that 7 to 8 inch scale toy. That the old Voyager scale was perfect for me. Perfect. Before it was like what called Ultra Class, I think, in the Beast Wars line, or Mega. Mega was maybe it was Mega. No, Mega I think was the deluxes. I can't remember. Um, but yeah, but I'm just scale with me is just it really is. It's in the eye of the beholder. I mean, you either like what that scale of that toy is, or you don't, and that can change from person to person.
That's very true. Very true. Is there any questions that you want to ask, Nikki Poo?
Nothing I can think of at the moment.
Okay. Well, as we're winding down, because I am trying to keep these about an hour or so long, I do want to ask, where do you think Transformers are going to be in the next 5 to 10 years?
Mm. Next slide. I think we're going to see a rehash of the Beast Wars in some way, some form or another, whether it's just character introduction in existing toy lines. Sort of like we got Beast Wars sprinkled into Cyberverse, right?
Yeah.
Cyber Shark, Cheetor, whatever. We got that sprinkled right into Cyberverse. But I do think that we are going to see a resurgence of the Beast era, and we're already seeing it in the toys. Lio Convoy, the MP, Dinobot, Black Arachnia, Prime, Cheetor. We're already seeing it. All right, it's been happening. So we're let's see, Wolftron, welcome. So I think we're going to see that. Now, is it going to be 5 years? I can't say for sure. I think they're going to probably try to integrate more of the Japanese continuity characters into the upcoming toy lines. I think that's what's going to happen. I really honestly do. I see that happening because it's already been happening. It's already been happening. Now, that said, I think we're always going to have the same 5-10 Autobots, 5-10 Decepticons that we always get in every single line. Why? Is because Hasbro likes a sure thing. And Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, etc., they're a sure thing. They're a sure thing. People buy them. They know it. So we're always going to have some iteration of Optimus Prime. We're always going to have some iteration of Bumblebee, some iteration of the Seekers, Starscream or whatnot. Why? It's because Hasbro knows their goal. They know it. And everybody, myself included, would like something new, some new characters. Well, we got new characters in Cyberverse, and nobody seemed to like them out, because it's Cyberverse, and we all want to hate it, except that it was really good, but they don't care. But we got new characters. We got 6 new characters, I think, total. Maybe 7. We get a toy of a character we've never seen before, Wreck and Ruin, ever, from any company, third party, fourth party, second party, first party, whatever. We've never seen a Wreck and Ruin other than customs. And guess what? Now we have one, but people are too busy hating on it to actually enjoy that we find that we've never had a representation from anywhere.
Oh, I know, and I'm still looking for him. He is a must of mine.
Me too. He's high on my list. I would love to have, I honestly would like to have a Rack and Ruin over a Earthrise Astro Train. And that says a lot because I really want an Astro Train. But I want Rack and Ruin. But I think we're going to see the Japanese series Transformers peppered into upcoming lines. And I definitely foresee a strong possibility that Beast era figs, if not sprinkled in upcoming lines, maybe a standalone line. Who knows? Because Input has reminded us just recently in his last live show that nothing's off the table, and he said it in other live shows. Nothing's off the table. So Adamantium Matrix says, I hope we get a new Beast Wars line in cartoons. I've only watched 8 episodes. Need to catch up. Would like to see a new version of the series. Yes. Firebite, welcome.
Yeah, welcome Firebite. Welcome Wolftron.
Wolftron says Hasbro doesn't give a blankety blank about Huffer. Well, you never know. They've released other mini bots. Why not him? Again, nothing's off the table. So we could get.
I will say I was surprised that we did not get a Bumblebee, and we've not got a image of a Bumblebee for even Earthrise.
As of yet.
Yeah, as of yet. I was very surprised.
Now, that could be because of the upcoming, because they're working on the Bumblebee sequel movie. So there might be toys coming out for that, and we may see Earthrise or even the next line after that, a Bumblebee toy. Because once that movie comes out, we'll see a flooding of those types of toys. I want to see Beast Wars Neo. I want that. Oh, Long Rack. Long Rack. No, I have the Long Rack. Well, I had the toy. Two of its legs broken. I've never been able to replace it. I got Karada and Long Rack and Mock in a 3-pack in Chicago, in Chinatown, Chicago. You can find some great buys there. Let me tell you, folks, if any lines you missed, man, just go to Chicago. Well, not now, not with this whole thing going on, but trust me,
You told me they got those there. I'm gone.
Oh man, they had. I walked into this shop. Now this was just a couple of months ago. I walked into a shop there in Chinatown, and wall to wall old Beast Wars and old toys just on the whole wall there, all Japanese box editions, all there. And I was just like, ooh. But I bought Karada, I bought Mock, and I bought Long Rack, and I accidentally broke Long Rack, and he's I can't transform him right now because, I tried gluing the legs to make them work. Unfortunately, I fastened him strong against the main body, and now he's untransformable and not doing anything because I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. The glue, gravity, glue goes down, and I had figures sort of balanced upside down. The glue ran right down into the ball joints and everything, and super glued it forever. I was like, oh man, nuts.
And and last but not least, since we are getting up to the hour mark, and I am going to try and see how I can work this and put this up also on Discord. I'm going to try and put it on the not Discord, excuse me, on my podcast, Autocrat Primer, which is ACP reviews. So I will be trying to get this uploaded on there. So with that, where can we find Ninjabill?
Okay, as I said at the top of the show, you can find me on Discord. Now that you mention it, Ninjabill on Discord, Ninjabill01 on Twitter, Ninjabill1000 on Instagram, and Ninjabill1000 on YouTube, and Shinobi Biru on Facebook.
And if you're watching this right now, there is a link in the description that goes to his YouTube page. So go check out Ninjabill. Great guy. Welcomed me and Nikki very early on when we came into this community. We had gotten burnt in the past, and this community rose and helped us through that, and even just recently. So with that, we are going to call it the end of the show. And like my grandfather always said, hold on to something from your youth. You'll never grow old. Look to the stars. Grab one for yourself, guys, and get out there. Well, get to your rooms, get wherever transform is, and just transform one of them, and just enjoy it while you can, because that's all it is to be enjoyed. So, anything else?
Real quick, I may not have a Sunday my Ninjabill and Friends show this Sunday. It may not be airing. So just to let folks be aware of that, decision still hasn't been made. I was waiting on a very important guest to show up. But I was so close, but it's sort of up in the air. And if he or she, I'm not saying it's a he or a she, if he or she doesn't show up, I may not do the show that weekend. So it's in the air right now. Just hang in there.
Well, if you do, I'm going to be home. I won't be seeing my nieces this weekend. So if you do, I was going to come and check it out or hang out with you. So there you go. He will is a teaser right now. Is a could it be or could it not be? Time will tell if Ninjabill will have a live stream on Sunday, and if so, what time will that be?
Usually 8 p.m. Central is when Ninjabill and Friends happen. It's a live show. You can join in a live chat. You can join in the show if I email you the link to the show, and to get on the show, you have to email me. My email is animeiowastaffer@gmail.com. So there you go.
Now, if you would like to be on a future episode of these interviews that me and Art Teach for Life are going to be doing on the channel, send it to autocratprimer@gmail.com. Exactly the name. Just autocratprimer with the @gmail.com. And we will try and hook it up. Well, guys, thank y'all so much for hanging out with me and in my back studio, as Kato and them call my little Pornhub. But as always, guys, go out there, have fun. Bye.
Thanks for having me.